XRP and Ripple about to take over the financial system. We've been talking about this since 2020. Even when the SEC initiated the case against Ripple around XRP being a security, do you guys remember what we said? We said we're holding on like a tick on a dog. We knew the freight train had left the building. First they resisted, then they sue it, then they regulate it, then they join it. Draper. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how we can't even keep up with the news coming out for Ripple, XRP, the XRP ledger, and now BlackRock working with Ripple, Circle, now USDC running on Ripple's technology. Buckle up, everybody. And the Bank of America CEO says, we're going to launch our own stablecoin. I'm telling you, the freight train, as Rosie Rio said, has left the building. I used to say this in corporate America. The freight train has left the building. You're going to get on and go for the ride of your life, or you're going to get ran over by it. But at some point, everybody's going to be on the train. Are you going to own the rails or be a passenger? So let's dive right in. So much bullish news. We got a lot to cover today. So Ripple X posted this, says tokenized U.S. treasuries are now live on XRPL. Ondo's Finance, backed by BlackRock's Build Fund, unlocks 24/7 institutional access, mintable and redeemable using RLUSD. Man, Abs posted this morning. Breaking USDC Circle. Okay, Circle's USDC is now live on the XRP ledger. 2 million USDC has officially been issued on the XRP ledger. Ripple and Circle are bringing the fully reserved one-to-one backed stablecoin to the XRPL, accelerating DeFi and institutional adoption. Circle and the XRP ledger are now connected. Crypto Aries, she's a very bright woman. She posted this a couple days ago, but she put out breaking. We now have Flare Networks. We have XRP. We have Ripple, RLUSD stablecoin, and we have Vivo Power, 100 million for breakthrough strategy, driving utility, demand, virtuous cycle for the XRPL ecosystem. Brad Garlinghouse, they are out at, I think they're in Singapore right now at Apex 2025. So let's listen to Brad Garlinghouse talking about, I think people grossly underestimate how much momentum will be created in the largest economies. God, this is great.
I think as a community, and I mean that broadly, across Singapore, across Southeast Asia, you have a community of entrepreneur. Like the energy that I feel being here, I mean, it's I think profound. And so I think this will continue to be a region that thrives and leads, and I think you'll see more and more faster adoption, partly as you see the US as a regulatory leader, that a lot of other countries look to the US. I think people grossly underrated how much momentum is going to be created by the largest economy in the world finally shifting into a pro-innovation, pro-crypto posture.
Boom. God, let that sink in, what he just said. I don't think people realize, well, 95% of the population doesn't realize. You're watching this. You're 5% of the population. Pat yourself on the back. Kudos to you. You should be excited. You're a generational shifter in your family. People grossly underestimate what's happening right now. We have so much growth ahead of us the next 6 years. Okay. Oh, man, I'm super pumped, man. Justin, Bank of America CEO, says bank is developing a stable coin both independently and in collaboration with industry partners. I wonder who they're collaborating with. I guess we'll see. Cointelegraph just in. Okay, so now this is why my narrative, why I hold XRP #1, Bitcoin #2, and I always talk to you guys about my other cryptos. Let me see. I'm not going to show you my portfolio here, my exact portfolio. That's one thing too. You got to be very careful, guys. Don't show, I see the influencers showing how much crypto they have and stuff like that. Keep that stuff private, man. XRP is my #1 holding, BTC #2, Solana #3, XLM #4, HBAR #5, VeChain #6, and I have many others as well, but I'm very consolidated in the RWA, which is real world solve cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this is why I hold XRP #1. Bitcoin is my treasury. We have that for our company as well. Just in, the House Committee on Financial Services passes Clarity Act 32 to 19 vote, advancing major crypto legislation to the floor, full House vote. Okay. So here it is right here. This was yesterday, breaking the U.S. Senate votes to advance the Genius Act crypto stablecoin bill. Remember, first they resist it, then they sue it. Now we're in regulation and joining phase. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to. So United States Treasury, Secretary Treasury Scott Bessent says the U.S. debt ceiling must be raised to must be extended. Okay. So they're going to raise the debt ceiling, which they always do. They have to, or we'll default on our debt. They're going to turn the printing machine on full blast, and that is going to devalue your dollar. Okay. That's why they're stacking Bitcoin. That's why 5% of the population, or excuse me, 5% of the supply is gone. 95% of the population does not have exposure to crypto. The elites own the Bitcoin now. It's not who holds the gold runs the world. It's who holds the Bitcoin, and XRP, in my opinion, rules the world. Just in, Treasury Secretary Bessent says crypto stablecoins could lock in US dollars dominance. What you're going to see, and I'm going to be reporting this to the Warriors today on the Thursday generational wealth building call, is about stablecoin regulation. Okay. Your browser has lost connection to your screen share. Hopefully we're doing okay here. I think we're doing good. Yep, I can still see it. Okay. So I want to show you guys this. I'll leave you guys with this. As just in, billionaire Paul Tudor Jones said Bitcoin, gold, and stocks are the best portfolio to fight inflation. Remember, I keep talking about inflationary and deflationary assets. Listen, listen. Yes. Okay. It's really God, what he said is like clarifies everything we've been talking about. Okay. So what we're gonna hear, we're gonna have temporary relief. Okay. There's going to be temporary relief. Just remember, God, I wish we hopefully people come back to these videos. Remember what I'm about to say. Okay. They're going to print a ton of money. They're going to lower interest rates. They're going to lower taxes. You're going to have a lot more money in your pocket. You're going to have a lot more monopoly money in your pocket. Let's call it monopoly money. Okay. We're going to feel a lot wealthier as Americans. Okay. Which is great. There's going to be a lot of job creation. But remember, it doesn't change the fact that we have more debt than we have income. So you're getting paid in someone else's debt. In China, they're 300% debt to income ratio. 300%. Okay. We're at 130%, I believe. I think it's 35 trillion in debt. We don't even collect enough taxes from Americans to pay the interest on the debt. Okay, so you're paid in someone else's debt. So you're gonna have a lot more money in your pocket. But what happens when they print money and they lower interest rates? Okay, supply and demand issues. Everybody goes and buys bigger houses, cars, and then there's a bunch of money pumping through the economy. There's a lot of false wealth. It's like, oh, everybody feels richer, but everybody's becoming poorer because we borrow against our future self. The middle class and the working class use leverage to buy things to extend or to borrow against their future selves. Okay. And they still have to beat the 2% inflation. So if they don't get a 2% raise every single year, they're going to become poor as they borrowed against their future self. Wealthy people use leverage to buy things that the working class and the working poor rent or buy. That's the mindset shift we have to have. So I focus on 4 things. Okay. Cash flow, cash is trash. I move my cash flow into deflationary assets, things like Bitcoin and XRP that be fixed supply. Okay. Then I use protection. I use cash value life insurance. Okay. They must be funded properly. They must be structured properly. And a lot of people are driving Lamborghinis with regular gas in it. You have to fund these properly. Okay. They're properly funded. If you do it, every money compounds every 7 years at 10%. So the front end of these policies are really important. So if you have a big hit in cryptocurrency, insure some of your principal. Now you have leverage. You have a insurance bank, and I have a Bitcoin bank, and eventually I'll have an XRP bank because we'll be able to use it in DeFi. Be very careful with these DeFi platforms. Make sure that you understand what you're doing. Okay. So we have cash flow. We have deflationary assets. That's why these guys are talking about Bitcoin and why they're storing their wealth in Bitcoin, because it's deflationary. The difference is Bitcoin, XRP, and many others, they have fixed supplies. They can't be printed. So they have fixed supply. So they become supply and demand. The more people buy it, okay, there's less supply, more demand. The US dollar is completely opposite. Okay, they either get us through taxation or they get us through inflation, which is illegal taxation. They're going to get you one way or the other. So you have to richest man in Babylon. You have to move your money. Remember, richest man in Babylon? You say 10% of what you make, but you don't just save the 10%. What do they teach us? Go to school, get a job, put your money in your 401k. No, you save the 10% and then you make the 10% create a brother or sister. When it creates a brother or sister, you create another brother and sister. So what I do is I get paid cash from my companies or US dollar. When it comes in, I'm either going to put it into something dividend ETF strategy, it's going to create cash flow. Okay, I'm going to put it into something that's going to appreciate, which is deflationary things, or I'm going to pump it into my policies, which gives me leverage. So now I have leverage from the deflationary asset, I have leverage from my insurance asset, and then I create a brother and sister, just like I did recently with my Bitcoin. I borrowed against my Bitcoin at 14%, bought my insurance firm. The insurance firm already had cash flow. It's paying it off. I beat the hurdle rate at 36% because since, as we sit today, Bitcoin, the past, has grown an average of 50% every year. So if I borrowed at 14, I made 36% on my money and I was the bank. Okay. It's a lot to digest, but the first thing you should focus on is knowing that the dollar is debt. Okay. Just because you have more money in your pocket doesn't mean you should buy more stuff. You should buy things that create assets that will buy your stuff. And you got to be patient and persistent for a long enough period of time to buy the things you want with OPM, other people's money, or cash generating assets. You can have the stuff, you can have the fun stuff, but you don't buy it with your family's future money. Use leverage to create more wealth. Use leverage to create more cash flow. With the cash flow, you create more cash flow. You create more appreciating assets. With appreciating assets, you leverage and you repeat the process. Okay, so always responsibly leverage. I hear people saying, "Oh yeah, leverage to pay your bills or leverage to buy a car." No. You leverage to buy cash generating assets that will pay for the vehicle. You leverage to buy to get into something that's going to pay the leverage off. Okay, and you have to beat the hurdle rate. You have to beat the insurance rate. So I'll leave you guys at that. Super bullish. Again, XRP, Bitcoin, my two biggest holdings. I believe in them in my soul. I mean, it's here. You can't flood me out of it. They have two different complete mechanisms. Bitcoin's a store value like gold for me. XRP is a bridge currency. I basically own the rails, which is phenomenal, and many other cryptocurrencies too. But those are my two biggest holdings. I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you need any support at all, description of this video down below. You can set up a free consultation with my elite insurance team that teaches you how to properly fund these, how to properly set them up. And we're very honest and open if this is a good fit for you or not. It's a free consultation. We do not get paid by the client. Then we have the 3T Warrior Academy. We've helped 11,400 people get their shit together in the craziest economic times in the world. And that's all in the description of my video. And if you're watching this on social or on Twitter, I think it'd be Twitter, click the link. Bam, it's all there. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.